Hello everyone, my name is Reed and welcome to Storytime. Today we're going to be reading some malicious compliance, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Seriously? Over a candy bar? I have 2 part-time jobs as a library assistant for 2 separate libraries in my area. The first one is one of the best jobs I've ever had. It's a small library, but super fun. Love my coworkers and my trustees are usually pretty cool. The second one? Well, it's a larger library. My coworkers are super nice, but one of my trustees does not like me. I've been here almost a year and she seems like she is out to get me. Well, yesterday kind of proved it. So one of our most frequently broken rules is that you're not allowed to eat in the library. You can have food in the conference room if there is an event or your staff. Here's the problem. I only work solo shifts and the conference room is on the exact opposite side of the library. Seriously, the front desk is in the front left side of the building and the conference room is in the back right side. So if I go to eat my dinner in there and a patron, how we refer to customers because they don't really purchase anything, comes in, then it takes me a minute to reach them or I risk them having to come find me because I didn't hear the bell on the doors, so I typically eat my dinner at the desk for maximum customer service. My boss, head librarian, understands this and has no problem with this as long as I clean up. Well, yesterday one of my favorite patrons came in. He is super nice and owns an old-fashioned candy shop up the road. Now, he's tried to tip me before, but I have told him I can't because I'll get in trouble, so the last couple times he has been in, he has given me a candy bar as a thank you. Sometimes it'll be one he made. His caramel pretzels are amazing, but sometimes he just brings me a Snickers or something. He will only bring me the pretzels and homemade stuff if they're fresh. Seriously, he makes the pretzels by hand and everything. Well, yesterday I helped him out, and per usual, he gives me a huge crispy heart chocolate because Valentine's is coming up, and he knows I'm quirky and love holidays. I come to work every day wearing a crocheted burger hat that my mom made me and typically a nerdy dress or shirt. I'm not the kind of person who hides my geekiness. So he leaves and I sit at the desk to eat my candy, one happy little nerd, when in comes my trustee, who we will now refer to as a entitled woman, or EW for short. I've just taken a large bite of my candy when she comes in and turns to the desk where I'm sitting and levels me with her glare and a smile worthy of a Batman villain because she thinks she's got me. Entitled woman. What are you doing? Me, after swallowing my chocolate. I finished putting the books away and I was just about... You can't eat out here. You have to eat in the conference room. It's policy. Me internally going WTF, it's just a candy bar. Are you arguing with me? All food must be eaten in the conference room. It's policy. But I eat at the desk all the time. Sue, head librarian, not her real name, said it's okay because I work alone and that way I'm not running from one side to the other of the library. You've done this before? Yes, Sue knows. Well then. She sounds totally offended and walks off to find a book, and I think it's over. If it were over, would I be here? I come in the next afternoon to find a written warning from her and Sue. Sue apologized and said she has to sign it to show that it's been seen and dealt with, and tells me not to worry too much about it. Oh no, I'm not worried about it. I'm so mad. Well, I began to sit and stew about this until I saw the note about the trustee meeting tomorrow night. Sue leaves a note for me to remind me every month so I know that I can't get to the microwave in the conference room and to bring a sandwich instead of something hot. I'm fairly mischievous and my dad is the king of malicious compliance, so I know exactly what I have to do. So last night, before I come in, I get all the fixins from the grocery store to make loaded nachos for dinner. Chili, cheese, the works. So I get into work and the trustee meeting has just started and I know EW has a big presentation for the meeting, so I sit and wait. When I start to get hungry, I politely knock on the conference room door and enter. EW had started her presentation. Sorry to interrupt, I just need to make dinner since I'm not allowed to eat at my desk. Sue immediately clues into what's about to happen and shakes her head with a smile. I take it as my go-ahead for what I'm doing. Whatever, just hurry up. So I go to the microwave and start my work. I heat up the chili first, and while it's cooking in our very loud microwave, I start fussing with the chips, making as much racket as I can, and even though I have my back to her, I can feel the glare. Once my chili is done, I put the nachos in and microwave those next while mixing in some chopped peppers from the supermarket with the chili for a bit of extra crunch. Nachos beep loudly, and I take them out. Whoops, not enough cheese and not melted enough. Add more, and in they go. This goes on a bit, and I finally am done with my nachos. EW is fuming at how loud I am, and it doesn't stop there. I sit in her vacant seat next to Sue, who is red in the face trying not to laugh, and I then start eating my nachos, so they're loud and crunchy as it is, but I typically don't eat crunchy food because I'm a loud chewer due to a click in my jaw from an old injury, so it's extra loud and annoying. EW is red with anger, and I just sit happily eating the sweetest nachos I've ever tasted until EW's presentation is over and my plate is empty. I clean the dishes and go back to the desk with a smug grin. Fast forward to today when I come in and Sue tells me that from now on the trustees would prefer me to eat my dinner at the front desk. Victory! It definitely sounds like entitled woman's policy is not your problem at all. Pour your drink? No problem. I work in a gambling establishment that offered table service. The job was horrendous, the customers treated you like absolute crap, the management did nothing to back you up, so the customers did it all the more. This was within my first month that this situation took place. A gentleman had ordered a J20 and a glass for at the gaming table, so I delivered his drink and glass to him and placed them onto his little table on wheels. I notified him I had placed his drink at the side of him. He looked at me, looked at his drink, looked back at me, and shooed me away with his hand. I was ticked, but I was getting used to the customers being jerks, especially if they're losing money. About 20 minutes later, one of the managers approached me. Turns out the gentleman had complained to my manager. Apparently I need lessons on how to empty a bottle of J20 into a glass, and it was ridiculous for me to assume he would pour his own J20. The casino offers table service, so he bloody well expects table service. My manager told me when that customer tells me jump, I basically ask how high. The manager also told me he doesn't want to hear that guy make another complaint about me. Later in the evening, he asked me for another J20, so off I go and deliver his J20, but of course I can't forget to pour his drink. He knew I had been told off, so was staring at me intently as I brought his drink over. I gave him a big, beaming smile and said, "Here's your drink, sir. Can't forget to pour it for you." As those words escaped my mouth, he had a crap-eating grin like he thought he had won and responded, "Good girl." I lifted his J20 up quite dramatically high up in the air and tilted it into the glass, with it splashing and splooshing onto my tray because of the height. The glass was quickly getting full, but he wanted his J20 bottle empty. I made sure I emptied the bottle at a dramatic height whilst his glass began overflowing. His face had changed from smug to a "WTF are you doing?" He quickly complained to the manager, who was spineless. The manager asked me what the heck I was playing at. I responded he wanted his J20 bottled empty, so I did just that. Another manager laughed and said, "Manager, if he told Judy that's what he wanted, that's what Judy gave him." Strangely enough, he never asked me to pour his J20 again for him. Hey, you can't give out orders, then have them followed to the T and get mad about it. You learned your lesson. My dad became a sub for the hospital he works at. As the title shows, it's a story about my dad that happened 2 to 3 years ago. To clarify, both my parents are doctors in hospitals in a small rural part of my country. Yes, hospitals. One is a normal one, the other is a psychiatric one. Because of that, they are the only specialists in their respective domains in the radius of about 80 kilometers. So if they want some free time, they need to specify it long before, like even 2 to 3 months for a day off. Basically, we're planning our next vacations a year before so the hospitals can get subs in time. Now, we did as always. In September, they had specified when they want their 2 free weeks. Hotels were chosen and paid, etc., etc. Almost a year later, not even a week before, my dad came home like a zombie. The The hospital HR told him they didn't find a sub, so because of this special case, which is not special according to a friend who's a lawyer, he had to stay at work for one more week and join us later. We were completely bummed because of that, but we weren't going to be outdone by that. My dad brought the entire code of the hospital home, and we looked everywhere to find something that would let us take our dad with us. Nothing until my mother started laughing at the table and showed us something. She found out about a certain clause under which, when the special case line was used, the worker was treated and most importantly paid as the sub. That basically means that you can dictate your pay as long as it's in the fork for such specialists. That means 700 to 1500 euros for a day of work. Double that if you're on call, then double that if that happens to be a Sunday. That's why subs were never allowed to be on call. Cue the malicious compliance. My dad took every possible on-call duty for the entire week which he was forced to work. The numbers stacked fast since one of these days was a Sunday on call. My dad said that he was never more delighted when he knocked on the director's door to tell him how much he was owed. They completely forgot about that rule, and the director could only stamp and sign approved, all the while making the gaping fish face. It came to almost 30k euros for a week's worth of work. Okay, that's a fat paycheck right there. Good job, OP's dad. Make him pay for ruining your vacation. I want the correct price. I work in a popular discount store. We get well-known brands for really low prices that customers question if they are authentic. They're just out of season or didn't sell well. So on to the story. It was early morning and not many customers were shopping. I had a customer come up and this is what happened. Sleazy customer. So I have this Calvin Klein shirt, but the price tag fell off. It's $10. Me. That brand usually doesn't go for that price, but I would be happy to check for you. There are no more over there. That was the last one. Well, then I'll just look up a generic price for you. I look up and the generic price for the designer tops are $20.99. The shirt will be $20.99. That's not the correct price. I explained to her that if I go find one on the floor, it would probably be more expensive, but she insists that I do it. I go onto the floor and find the same shirt. It ended up being $24.99. While I am walking back to my register, I watch as she takes a tag out of her hoodie pocket and neatly placed it between the clothes like it was there all this time. Oh, I found the tag. I scanned the tag and of course it's not the correct one and was pulled randomly off some shirt. I told her the price of the shirt and rang it up for her. I thought the shirt was $20.99. That was the price in the computer, but since you wanted the correct price and demanded I get you the right price, the shirt is $24.99. Here is your receipt and have a nice day. She snatches the receipt and stomps out, never to be seen again. Huh. People are shady, man. Well, that's all the stories we have for today. If you liked what you heard, make sure to subscribe for more content. And thanks for listening and have an amazing day.